Well, I thought we'd have a little fun this week. It might be somewhat unsettling, but sometimes it's good to be unsettled and have the existential tablecloth pulled out from underneath us because, as someone once said, we become sought in our ways. Anyway, you hear a lot from modern cosmologists and modern astrophysicists. You hear this interesting conclusion that many of them are coming to, and they talk about the fact that space and time are not real, that locality, space, and time fail at the depths of modern physics. It's such a ridiculous, absurd thought that we mere mortals we listen to that and we can't begin to make head or tails of it. But essentially, the deepest physics and cosmology at this point says at the core of being itself, space and time are not real. In other words, the most real experience of our lives, this curious medium that we live in called space and time, is not real. If you look across your living room, you can see stuff that's over there. And in order to get over there, it would take time to get there. And that illusion of there's an out there is so overwhelmingly strong that it's nearly impossible to pierce in our lifetimes. In other words, what appears to be most real to our experience is actually not real at the depths of reality. Now, I'm not speaking from a spiritual or religious or metaphysical point of view. I'm talking about what's being discovered at the very depths of science by many of the brightest thinkers on the planet. And it all began a little over 100 years ago when Einstein took whatever understanding that whatever the universe was and completely altered it. In essence, he sort of put space and time together in one continuum. And that lasted for about 10 or 15 years until the next generation of physicists and cosmologists said even that didn't exist. There's a whole host of famous conversations between Einstein and very well-known physicists who came along a little afterward, where Einstein would argue at the essence of things, there was a physical reality. Einstein absolutely held to this his entire life until his death in 1955. He felt that at the core of reality, that there was an essential physical reality. And the quantum physicists said at the core of reality, there are particles and waves and an uncertainty going on. And he hated that, and he argued it till the end of his life. And then within 10 years of the end of his life, it was essentially proven true, the theory that what we look at is essentially waves and particles constantly formulating and then dissolving. Where am I going with all this? Trust me, I'm going somewhere this week. In other words, what you hear a lot of modern scientists saying is that we live in a simulation. A simulation, in other words, this is a computer program that we're watching. Now, I know that sounds unsettling, but when you look at Eastern religions, they talk about illusion or Maya, M-A-Y-A, that everything we're looking at is really phenomenal and an illusion. And of course, Jesus counseled us that don't judge appearances because we should judge the truth instead. In other words, as human beings, we've locked ourselves into a prison of space and time. And having locked ourselves in there, we're stuck there until we get out. And the only way to get out, you can't wrestle with an illusion to try to break out of it. All there is to do is see it for what it is. As we look out into the world, the only thing that's truly real is our own experience and our own consciousness. Everything we're looking at is going to change. What you're looking at in your life and the people in your life will all be gone. Hopefully not soon, but everything changes. Everything dismantles. Everything is subject to entropy. Everything is breaking apart and then reformulating. So this week we're going to think about this and realize we live in a universal mind and we're all parts of it. And we're all dreaming our own individual realities in an infinite dream together. Now, just hearing that begins to break through the illusion that we're looking at. And when the illusion breaks down, so does the suffering and the misery and the anguish that inevitably comes from living in space and time. Because in space and time, there's a distance between what we love and how long it's going to take to get there. When space and time breaks down in our own experience, everything we love is immediately available to us, and we begin to dream a far more beautiful dream. So this week, as you look out at the world and your life and your situation and your circumstances, remind yourself it's a simulation that's happening in infinite mind, and you're dreaming your version of it. If you don't like the dream, change it. See you tomorrow.